Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's wait for Alexis to join us here. I'm gonna wave at everyone while we wait. There she goes. I'm waving. I'm waving to everyone. We're just getting situated here. Give us 1 second. How's everyone doing? There we go. It's not loading? Okay, give me 1 second. Let's get you in here. I'm gonna wave to everyone. We're gonna have an interactive situation today. Let's see. That's interesting. I'm waving. We're having technical difficulties. Let's give it a moment. It's saying she's unable to join. Oh, there we go. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
I had to get off and get on like 3 different times.
That's fine. That's fine. I think my my technical background came in handy today, so I think that's a beautiful thing. Alexis, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad you can join us today. So I think that I'll introduce myself first because you're gonna steal the thunder. I don't want to go after you, right? So my name is Ivory Johnson. I'm actually here in Dallas, by
Hey.
the way. Born and raised in Jersey. Joined Forbes the Culture, I think it was a couple of months ago. This year has been a whirlwind, so it's kind of hard to know when that happened. But it's been pretty exciting. Worked in finance for about a decade. Moved out to California where I went over to Salesforce. So now I work in technology, so Blacks in Techs. Okay,
Ooh.
let's do it. But
Yeah.
also what I did during my transition from finance to tech was started an esports management company called 361 Commission, as you can see with the shirt here, where we look to
Representing.
create opportunities for individuals from forgotten environments, inner cities, and letting them know that they can have access to the same type of success and exposure as other demographics as well. So that's what we do at 361 Commission. They reached out to me because we have a very special guest today. I'll let you introduce yourself. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but we do want to know that you're the WNBA champion 2017, two-time Gatorade Player of the Year, two-time first team All Big, okay? But you can tell everybody who you are, and then we'll just start digging in and letting people know who you are and why you're here.
Okay. I'm Alexis Jones, a WNBA player. Right now, I'm a free agent, and that's who I am.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So you're from Texas, right?
Yep.
All right. So how was it growing up in Texas? You're from Midland?
Yes, I'm from Midland,
Tell
Texas.
us
The
about
West
Midland, Texas. I don't know if a lot
West
of people are
Texas.
familiar with Midland, so tell us what it's about. What it was like growing up there.
Man, it's a super small town. Um, I mean, it's not a big population.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of kids don't make it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's my hometown. This is where I grew up from, and
Yeah.
it's just not a lot there to do, you know. So, I mean, but I love my city though.
That you gotta love your city. You gotta love your city. I did do a little research, and I saw that your dad played a big role in getting you from, let's say, Midland, up to Baylor, to Duke, to the WNBA. Tell me about that relationship and that how we got you up and running from Midland to see the world.
Yeah, I grew up in Midland. It's small, like I tell you, and my dad worked in the Boys and Girls Club, and he just loved kids. He loved kids and he loved
Hmm.
sports. And I was the daddy's little girl. I'm the middle child. I have two brothers, and I had an older brother that he is his stepson. And I used to watch my older brother all the time. And I was at the Boys and Girls Club 24/7.
Okay.
Like I when it opened, I was there. When it closed, I was there. And he brought in a lot of kids. Like he used to go pick them up on buses, and
Hmm.
it's just something that I grew up in that it's something that his heart is into, and he loves to take kids from getting out the hood and finding something them to get their minds busy and keep them busy and keep them off the streets from wanting to sell drugs and
Yeah.
do other things. He wanted to show the kids that there is a brighter side on the other world, and with this sports you can get a scholarship. That's all we knew. We're
Yeah.
from Midland, Texas. It's a small city. We don't like there's not much to really live up to there besides either do drugs, go to jail, and do some more drugs and sell drugs. So he
Yeah.
had a lot of things for those kids, and the Boys and Girls Club was like our big thing top.
Hmm.
Like we love to go to the Boys and Girls Club every day. Like I wake up wanting to go. Like that's how bad I wanted to go. Because you get to see, when you're young, you get to see all your friends.
Yeah.
Like you wake up and you see your friends every day. Like it's like the most funnest thing I could do. And we always had activities, and that's how I got into like basketball. Because he would have he'll have football activities for kids, and we didn't just have like kids. Like we were good.
Oh,
So
wow.
we say it again.
No, I said, oh wow. Like I went to the
Yeah,
Boys and Girls Club when I was younger, but it was only in the summertime. I
yeah,
never really spent much time there, so your experience is completely different. And it's so crazy that, your story is very similar to my story and to a lot of other people's color stories. So that's a problem that we all have the same story. It shouldn't be so common, but unfortunately it actually is. Wow. So interesting to hear that. But there's a
yeah.
lot of people who probably look up to you, or probably, seen you play ball, do things on and off the court. What would be your advice to people or, younger generation who aspires to compete and play at that, professional level? Like, what would be your 2 cents to them?
I would say, shoot, work hard and have fun doing it. And I always had fun. Like,
Hmm.
granted, my dad was, striving to push for kids to get scholarships and stuff, but we played the game super hard, and that's the only thing we knew. Like, he never forced us to be like, like, oh, if you don't do this, you're not gonna get a scholarship. It was more like you're gonna be great, and if you're great, you're gonna get a scholarship. That was like the end goal. Like,
Okay.
yeah, you don't even have to. And then it was like it wasn't all about going D1. It was nothing like that. It was all about getting an education, a free education at that. Because
True.
for us
True.
blacks, our family we don't
True.
have the support to give us free educations every day. So he wanted to put a lot of kids through school, and he put a lot of kids through school, like
Wow.
a lot of kids through school. And I just kept striding, and I always played older. So like, if I was like when I was like 4, I probably was playing with like 8th graders. I was playing like with the 8-year-olds, and then I would play with guys who were 8-year-olds, and then I was always just with older kids, and I played like 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Like I was everywhere. I love to play basketball. I
That's
thought
interesting.
nothing of it.
Yeah, well, I was a wrestler many years ago. I was never good at basketball. Like I tried in the 8th grade, I got cut, and then I like threw my basketball away. It was done, and I'm only like 5'9", so I didn't really have much of a future there. But wait, I hear you speak about basketball. Like, what fuels your competitive drive? Like, what separates you, or what motivates you to want to win? Was it how your father instilled that in you, or was it something else that made you want to be so competitive?
Well, really, he installed it into me, but I think as a young age, when you're young and they put something in your hand, and I think I just grasped onto it and I just fell in love with it, and I never stopped falling. I never fell out of love with it. That's the only thing I can say is like, when I wanted to do it, I just kept going, and I wanted to be the best, and I just wanted to be the best, and I always just loved to play. And he couldn't tell me, if he asked me to play, I'd be like, okay, where we going? You know, like, like
So
it
you'll
was,
play all day. Okay,
yeah.
that's
So I
good.
used to
Well,
play a lot.
it seems like you put a, well, and it doesn't seem, the truth is you put a lot of work, into your craft, into being a great basketball player. Has it been difficult to be known for anything else, right? Like everyone know you, oh, Alexis, you play ball. That's kind of been, your MO for a very long time. Has it been difficult to be known for things other than basketball?
Yeah, very difficult, like super difficult. Like, but like in my world, I always just grew up just loving the game. I never knew like, like it's levels to it, and I always been good. So, like I was good going to college. So when I got to college, it was never just clicked to my head like, oh, eventually you're gonna make money one day with this,
Mm-hmm.
until I got to the league and I started sitting on that bench. So I was like, yo, my time is not on the court no more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm like,
Yeah.
and I was with a lot of great people. So I'm a learner. Like I learn from everybody. I take anything. I watch people and I take what they got and I try to put
Mm-hmm.
it into mine. And that's how I use my game too. I always try to just add on a little bit. If I don't think I got it, then I need to go get it. So,
Mm.
and that's what happened. I started sitting on that bench and my mind clicked like, okay, like now I can try to go do what I want to do. Like maybe I want to be a model. Maybe I want to be pretty and be in magazines one day, to build my brand. Like I want to give back to kids. I want kids to see me achieve and do the things that I'm doing and
Mm-hmm.
understand that you can do these things too. And then, but I learned quick, like life wasn't that easy as,
Yeah.
as a 12th round, first round draft pick,
But
on the
every,
best team ever.
it's not an uncommon story that you're speaking about, right? So there's a lot of athletes who get to that next level, and that happens to them, and it's kind of like a shell shock, right? Like you're like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a competitor. I believe I'm the best at what I do because I'm a competitor. You make it to the next level, then that happens. I mean, like, how did you feel? Like, what was your feeling at that moment? Like, was you like, whoa, like, I didn't think this was gonna happen, or wow, this is happening to me? Like, what did you?
I think like when I first realized, I was like, oh snap, like I can get drafted, I can go high, Then I
Mm,
got hurt, and I was like, okay, I teach my mind to be prepared for the unprepared before the prepared,
that's
and
great.
I have a gut feeling. So I knew what was going. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew when I went to Minnesota, my mind immediately changed. I was like, I'm not about to play. So I always been a learner. Like that's what my dad taught me, and I always strive to get better. I'm never gonna let me not playing and let a coach tell me like, oh well, you're not gonna play. And I've been told that. Like Coach Reeve came to me my first game and said in my face and was like, yeah, you're not gonna play this year. And I just looked at her like, I I know. Like cool.
Mm.
So I just had to prepare my mind and I knew like I know who I am as a person. Like I'm not gonna let Maya Moore or the Sylvia Files or intimidate me and be like I can't be on the court with them. I'm gonna work my tail off so I can be on the court with them. Like that was my mind. Like you're not gonna tell me I can't compete. Like I can compete. I ain't make it this far to not compete.
That's true. You know what? That's a great segue because your slogan, right? So you have a slogan, and it's "Make them believe," right? That's the slogan there.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Like, what does that mean to you? And I think from what you've said until this point, you've been making people believe for a very long time, and now we're at a precipice, right? We got to make people believe again. How did it come about? And that's probably how it came about. But tell us, like, what it means to you. Like, how is that incorporated into everything you're doing right now?
I mean, I think it's not. I think it's amazing. I
Yeah.
didn't think the slogan was gonna be like I dreamed about it being big because I was like, you're not gonna take some like I've been doing this since I was 4. Like I'm here, I'm gonna finish. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna make all y'all believe. Like I don't care who I'm with, what I'm going through. Like you're not gonna sit in my face and tell me that I'm not gonna play. Like
Yeah.
that's just not what's gonna happen. And I respect Coach Reed to the day I die. Like that's probably like my favorite coach in the whole wide world, just because I think she put that extra edge that was like, oh, does she really got it? And I'm like, oh, I got it, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
I love, I love when somebody doubt me. And that's where making believe came. I was sitting in there and I wasn't playing. I was like, oh, I'm about to make them believe for sure. You know? And then I just started, and then like, I just got in my head, like, I just wasn't playing. And then I started getting down on myself. So I was like, and it started affecting me like in my game because I come from 30 to like 2 minutes. So my 2 minutes is like them is crucial. I ain't never had crucial 2 minutes before. Like them is
Yeah.
crucial. So I have to like change my mindset to not have a bad attitude to be like, yo, I'm gonna do something with these 2 minutes. I'm gonna make this 2 minutes turn into 3. So
Yeah.
I just kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing because at the end of the day, like now I'm in survival mode. This is all I got. And this is what I gotta finish with. So I'm like, I'm just keep on pushing. So I
You
was
know
like,
what I
I'm
tell
make them
people
believe.
all the time is that, especially coming from a place like Midland, I grew up in North New Jersey. Shout out to people from Jersey, North New Jersey, stand up, right? That you're born into like so much like trauma, so much stuff going on around you that you actually, which is probably toxic, operate in a state of survival like constantly, right? Like so you being pushed to only get 2 minutes on the court, being in survival mode, actually puts you in a position where you're very comfortable because we're always comfortable being in survival mode. And that's probably
Mm-hmm.
why we're so mentally,
Yeah.
gone at times. But you were probably like, you're putting me in a position where I'm very comfortable proving myself.
Yep.
I'm about to make you believe, right? So I understand 100%. But it's been difficult for you to be known for many different things. And this is where we're about to get into the nitty gritty right now. Queen's Gaming Collective. Tell the people, what's this about? I mean, I found out about this. I actually had an opportunity when I was in New York at OSNYC with my brand 361 Commission. We threw a gaming tournament called the Art of War, and I met a young lady by the name of Black Crystal, and she actually is on Queen's Gaming Collective. She's a part of that. Tell the people what it's about. Like why'd you join? Like, just give us a little background on that.
Man, Queen's Gaming Collective is like I I think it's like something that's really gonna change my life. And I met a lot of group of women that are going through the same thing as me,
Mm-hmm.
but in different angles. And I think we're all in the situation where we're trying to, like we've been pushing so hard, but we don't have support, and we don't understand how like why we don't have it. Like we push so hard to not understand like why don't we have the support that we need. And with this Queen's Gaming Collective, like I realized like I wasn't the only girl who really liked to play games. And in this industry, like there's some really, really gamers. Like I played a game, but I haven't became like I just got into like the competition world. Like I
Mm-hmm.
just played online. Like that's what I did. I played 2K online. I do it all. That was my meditation. Like when I go home, like that's what I do. And to meet these girls like from the Queens is like I think it's amazing because they all have different stories
Mm-hmm.
and they all are super great at gaming. So I think it's just like amazing how like they've been pushing and striding and how they have to do all these photo shoots by themselves, how they got to do their YouTubes by themselves, how they, how they had to, I don't know even how they had to get their, PCs and stuff, and just like listening to their stories and understanding like what a woman goes through just in basketball, gaming, being an artist, and all the different things that they had to go through. It just made me feel more comfortable in like I had a sister. Like I never had a sister before either. So like being around these 13 girls and just like feeling them and like, yo, we support you, like, yo, we love you, like this and this and that, and being
Mm-hmm.
so genuine with me is just like, dang, like it's some dope women in this world that really are going through a lot of different things and I never knew. Like, and that want to stride and push to be in this gaming industry, but it's so homophobic. Like it's so like, oh, it's a guy's game, it's not equal. And it's even like that in women. Like women WNBA players would be the first one to be like, oh, I don't play games. Like there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with playing games, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think it's a sweet thing that we do play games. So I'm like, I'm super I'm honored to be a part of this, this
That's
history in the
beautiful.
making, man, because these
Yeah.
women they're about to make history for sure. So it's just like it's amazing to be a part of women who's gonna push to, want to change the world and show little girls like there's nothing wrong with playing a video game.
Well, that's dope. I did a little research into them. I think they got Baron Davis behind them. It's a couple of, big names, big companies really pushing for them. And I think that the very unique thing about it is when you think about just women in general, what I've heard, obviously I'm not a woman, but what I've heard is that it's very difficult to find like just a group of friends, right? Like it's very like I can go out to a restaurant or to a bar, I can go anywhere and strike up a conversation, and we're gonna have a great day. And I found a new friend, right? But
Yep.
it's found it very difficult to build that type of bond. So that you found an environment where you can be yourself, and you found women that you can identify with, and you guys have a commonality. That's a great, great place to be. How did they find you? Like, how did that relationship start in the first place? I mean, we know what they do, but did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Like, how did that happen?
Well, Leisha, she reached out to me. I had Ryan too. Ryan
Mm-hmm.
is my manager. He's super dope, and he's into gaming. So I got in, like, I met him through when I was with Atlanta, and I just been like, I've been just trying to push and build my brand and try to find people, who's willing to just be like, hey, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna take the time out to help you and not try to be so, oh well, you gotta pay me $1,200 to do this, or
Mm.
like, or they'd be like, oh, I'm gonna get you on and then they'll never do it, So I like Ryan is the one who I started with, and then I got an email from Queens, and it just went from there. And I really didn't know what it was at first. I just was just like, yo, yeah, I play games, like I'm in, like. And then when I got on the phone with him, that's when it became real. I was like, oh, this
It's a
is
real.
real.
This
Like
is
I really
happening.
might have I was like, like I really have genuine people on the phone that really want to help and
Yeah.
care for me and my story and love me as a person and don't want to, degrade, like be like, oh, you're not a superstar, so we can't put you on, because that's the generation with WNBA. If you're
Yeah.
not a superstar, you can't get an endorsement. That's what agents physically tell you.
Wow.
Oh, you're not going to make a lot of money because you can't get an endorsement because you didn't go 1 through 3. So it's going to be hard for me to get you an endorsement, but you can go overseas. You know what I'm saying? So when I found these people that was like, yo, we're going to build your brand. We can do this. I'm like, you can?
That's
I ain't
great.
never heard nobody who can really do
That's
that.
great.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
and that generally wants to do it and care for you and like love your story. And it was just like an amazing feeling. Like, cause when I first got the email, I just sent it to Ryan. I was like, yo, I used to send him all type of, if you ask him, I used to send him all, he's like, bro, that's spam. I'd be like, dang, man.
I thought it was an opportunity.
Yeah, I used to have, man. I know the conversation he probably has with me. I know he'd be like, man, let's send me all type of crazy stuff. He'd be like, don't email him back. That's spam. I'm like, dang. All right, wait for another option. But yeah.
That's good. And also, people listening, there's a question mark. You can drop your questions there for Alexis. We'll put some time at the end to answer those things. But do you have any advice or, women who are listening who are like, hey, this sounds like a great opportunity, Queens Gaming Collective. Is there a way that they can get involved or they can apply or just go to the website? Like, is that the best way to figure out if they can, mold and mesh with this organization or?
Yeah, I mean, I would say go follow our Queens page, and we're just launching. So I know Boss Lady, I call her Boss Lady because she's so bossed up.
We're gonna call a boss lady then. Everybody gonna call a boss lady. We're gonna figure out
Boss
who that is
Lady.
later. But for right now, we're talking about boss lady. Okay. So
She's
boss
so
lady.
bossed up. It's like I think it's the most inspiring thing I've ever seen to see like a woman who's so bossed up and was like, yo, we're about to take it. We're going to take it all the way. Like, we just champs up in this thing. And I love it because we all have the same attitude. So it don't make me feel like I'm weird and I'm not too passionate about, what I love to do, So I just would say, like, man, if you got a passion for it and you feel like somebody is not up to your passion, don't talk to them. Go talk to somebody that's going to be excited just like you. So when you walk out, you be like, yo, yeah, that's what I need. That's going to motivate me. That's going to keep pushing me. I'm going to wake up to do it every single day.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. So I was looking at your Twitter.
Uh-oh.
And no shade room questions. I'm gonna keep it good here. No shade room questions. Zoo Gang. Are you affiliated with Fetty Wap? He's New Jersey native. So are you gaming with them? Are you playing with them? Like, how does that work? Tell us that relationship.
Let me tell you how I genuinely met him. It was this boy named Soulja Boy. He was on he was just I was playing a game and he DM'd me one time. I write people back. I get to know people vibes and feelings. And I met him and I started talking to him and he was just like, man, I played PlayStation. He's like, man, get on the Xbox. I was like, man, I'm not play the Xbox.
Come
Like,
on, don't do
I was
that.
like, but I used to play the Xbox when I was younger too.
Yeah.
They got a new one. And I was like, man, if it ain't the old one, I don't want to play the Xbox.
You
Like,
got the
I like
next
the
gen
old.
yet? You got the PS5 yet? You got your hands on
No,
that?
no, I need it though. No, I need it.
I'm gonna call
Need
my
it.
plug. I'm gonna highlight you. We're gonna talk about
I
that
need
later.
that.
I got you.
I need that. I need that.
But
But
so you linked up. I saw it's Fetty and Soldier. Is it Soldier? That's Soldier Boy. Is it? That's Soldier.
Soulja Kid, Soulja Kid,
Soldier
Soulja
Kid.
Kid,
Soldier Kid.
Soulja Kid. My bad, Soulja Kid. So Soulja Kid, he wrote me and he was like, "Yo, Fetty Wap's, trying to build a girls game, and we trying to get all the WNBA players up in it, this and this and that." I'm like, "Yo, that's dope." There's nobody in history that has wrote me that physically wants to help grow the WNBA in a whole nother generation of the game. So when I met him, he just put me onto a whole bunch of stuff, and then that's when he was like, man, you part of Zoo Gang now, because he knows Fetty Wap.
Mm-hmm.
So he put me in that competitive world where I was twitching and we was on 2K, we'll play together, and I just got really into it. And I just like, okay, yeah, like I do this all the time. Like he taught me how to really get competitive at it, and that's how I really got into like the Zoo Game. Was really Soulja Kid. He's a super great. He's a great person, man. Like
I see you got your tribe in here. I see Zoo Gang going up in the chat. Zoo Gang
that's the
going up
game
in the
right there,
comments.
yo. Man, we
All
go hard. They
right.
super genuine, and I think for like women, there's not a lot of men that genuinely want to help women, and he's helped a lot of women get
It's
verified
beautiful.
on 2K, like with telling me how to get verified and get more into it. Like he got Ariel Powers verified on 2K, so he's very into the gaming. We also, when I went to All Star Weekend, he also let me. I don't even play Call of Duty. I went to a whole Call of Duty event. I was VIP. He was teaching me the whole ropes of everything. So
We
like,
gotta talk then because I got some solid Call of Duty gamers. Solid. And I got one 2K player. His name Ricky Muffin from the Bronx. You guys gotta play, man.
hey,
You gotta
I'm
play.
with it.
You
I'm
gotta
not good
play.
at Call of Duty though. That's the thing. He wanted me to get into it, but he gave me an opportunity to be around it and like to experience that vibe in All Star Weekend. And I thought it's the dopest feel. It was dope. It's just dope to have a dope friend who cares for you and wants to put you on and wants to help you and don't want to take from you and
And that's the type of
genuinely wants
energy
to
we
help and
need.
teach.
And that's the type of energy you should keep, especially 2020 vision right now. You should be able to see that clearly. No
All the
bad
way through.
vibes. No
No.
bad vibes. Well, I mean, I hear you talk about gaming. Like, first of all, like, what's your first memory of gaming? Like, tell me, like, let's go back to the trap. Like, let's talk about when you first got into gaming.
Ooh.
And you're pretty active now, right? So, how active are you now, like, in the gaming world? So, let's go back to when you first remember saying, like, man, I like ball, but I like playing games too. So, like, what was that moment? And also, how active are you actually like, right now in gaming?
I'm very active right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm really trying to get into like the shooting games. Like I'm trying to like learn. So I like now go back from like 2K to like the shooting games and stuff like that. I haven't really got big on my Twitch because I think my Twitch it ain't up to date yet. But
You're gonna get there. There's other avenues. You got YouTube, you got Facebook, you got Twitch. There's other avenues you can stream through.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
yeah, so I played, but I was playing back in the day when they had the old Xbox when we was playing Street Volume 2. We had the college basketball games out. That was like the lit
Yeah, they
thing for
forgot
me right
about
there.
that.
When we had the college basketball,
Yeah.
letting college players play. You was playing with, you get to play, dude. You can play with all. You knew all the college players,
Yeah.
man. You
Yeah,
knew
forgot
all of
about
them
that.
in football and basketball, and they was coming out with all of them. And that was like, I think that was my memorable moment because it was like, I like the college games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love to do. I used to just play. I just used to play sports. I never was into like the shooting games. I was just always like, if a Street Volume 2 came out and one mixtape when they was, when you
Yeah.
can
I was
three
watching
leg
the
hop
Professor
to
YouTube
dunk
video
on
yesterday.
things.
What happened to the Professor? Like,
Yeah, all that. So that was like that's my experience of like the old gaming, like where you just wasn't on 2K all day. You had a whole different mix to play. Like you could play 2K, you can go play some college basketball. you can go, you can build up on a lot of different things. You can go play football, so like
Yeah,
that was
2K
like
did
my
bully their
experience.
way in. After NBA Live, they had like Inside Drive, they had like Street, they had a whole bunch of games, and then 2K
Yeah,
just
Street
became the
Volume. I
only
think
game.
Street Volume 2, Street Volume 1, Street Volume 2. Remember them?
Yeah,
Like them street games, like all
yeah.
that. Them was
I
the
used to
games
love
I
those
had.
games, man. So, like, it sounds like NBA 2K right now is your favorite game. I was going to ask you what was your favorite game. I think that question has been answered.
Yeah.
What modes are you playing, right? You doing my player? Are you on the court? Are you like, what, play now? Like, do you have a
Oh no,
specific?
I only play my player. I can't
Yeah?
play the other games. It don't excite me. I ain't building up nothing. I'm just beating people. I can do that, like like if I'm playing
Excuse me?
somebody. But I like I think I like the place to like where I can go play in the streets,
Hmm.
build up my player. I can go in there and try to look like I'm hot sauce or something. It kind of
Yeah.
like kind of mimic me. I'm left-handed on there, so
You're a lefty? Okay.
yeah.
Your
So
handwriting's probably horrible. Left hand, I tell you right now, lefties, man, the handwriting is atrocious. But you probably got the dribble, but the handwriting's not there. Well, so we got the WNBA, for next gen, when it comes to NBA 2K, they're incorporating women basketball players into the game, which is really big because it always kind of been separate in regards to like NBA and WNBA. Like, how do you feel about just women getting that exposure on that type of platform? When you think about video games in general, like that has to be like a good feeling to see, that merger and that representation and just being an ally and saying like, hey, this is a sport. These are athletes. We are going to use that platform to get them exposure because that's important. The WNBA has struggled over time trying to get that. So, I mean, if you have any perspective or any commentary on that, you can definitely share it.
I think it's a great thing. I'm honored to be in the game. The women's game it hasn't lasted too long, but I'm happy to be alive and to be like, oh, my dream did come true. I made it to the end. Like that was my
Hmm.
dream. I don't know about the other girls, but I just wanted to be up in the game. That was my itch right there.
Yeah.
Like dang, put me in the game. So
Yeah.
like I think it's a dope feeling. I think it's definitely a generation change and I think it's good for women. I think it's good for little girls to see that too. So because there's a lot of little girls who play games, so I think it's good that now that these younger women can not just only physically try to watch us on TV, and only know if your parents are really involved into it, but now they can see and be more inspired now and be
Hmm.
like, yo, like that's a WNBA player, that's a basketball player, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's what's going to like change the generation and help women's basketball game more because I don't think they see enough of us on
They don't.
in off season. I don't think we do enough in off season. There's not a lot of women that can do enough in off season to give back to the kids, to be around them kids a lot. Because I know when I played pickup, I had a great experience with being around a lot of dope kids, a lot of great kids, and I don't even play. So I can only imagine. I ain't even got my minutes yet.
Hmm.
And they love me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just a WBA player. And I think the W thinks about, oh, well, you gotta have playing time in order to get your fans,
That's
and
not true. That's not
exactly.
true. I mean,
Exactly.
think about it. If you think about just the age that we're living in right now with social media, you can be a nobody and get verified, and you have a brand where you can make
Bigger than they brand.
thousands and millions of dollars through social media. So the fact that even if you are on the bench and you're in the WNBA, how you're marketed can change all of that. It's not the 90s anymore, right? It's a way different generation. And the way that you market yourself to this new generation, it has to be palatable. And sometimes you can just be yourself and you can make even more money. Like being real is scarce right now. Let me tell you. So you definitely want to be real. But I see Zoo Gang going up in the comments, man. I'm gonna have to put a challenge out there, man. I see them. Nobody's repping me, but it's cool. It's
Ah,
cool. It's cool.
we
But
come hard. I'm telling you, we come hard. I've been coming hard since
listen, we're gonna set
been
this up. We're gonna
COVID.
stream it live. We're
We
gonna
come
set it
hard.
up. First of all, we gotta do Call of Duty, and then we can do 2K. Tell them
Oh,
to
now
get
you can't get
his
me in
get his.
Call of
Oh,
Duty
we can
because
do
you're gonna
2K
get me in
first then.
Call of
We can do
Duty.
2K first. We can do 2K first.
We got okay, yeah, we got definitely do
And if
2K
you
first.
lose, Zoo Gang got to get their COD squad together, and then we gonna play.
Oh, we got that. That's
So it's gonna be on your back. But last question I want to ask you here. I mean, not the last question, but you're in the game here, and once we were talking about just brand in general, Like, how do you feel this will impact your brand? Do you feel like it's going to impact your brand, or just you in general being in the game, or you joining Queens Gaming Collective? Like, you as a brand and you as a person, like, how do you feel the support you have here from Zoo Gang, from Queens Gaming Collective, from being in NBA 2K is going to take Alexis to the next level? And then what is that next level for you, like in regards to gaming and basketball? Like, where do we go from here? Like, where do we go from here?
Man, I think the gaming is the most unique, genius thing ever. And
Yeah.
if you're not a WNBA player and don't want to get hooked on it, that's your bad. But I think you can communicate with kids. I have definitely communicated with a little boy on there. His name is T3Z. He calls himself T3Z. He's super sweet. He's 11 years old, and he made my day. And he's on there, and yeah, and that's what made me like. When Soulja Kid got me on there, it made me realize, like, dang, these little kids, you know what I'm saying? If I get on here, they're gonna be like, yo, that's a girl, and you playing WA? Oh, snap, you know what I'm saying? Like, they like that. It's like it gives you that extra communication with your fans and to build your fans and to
No,
get to those, to reach
definitely,
those
yeah.
little kids, in a
Yes.
different way, like especially for women. Like I don't know what they had. I never had that way. I'm speaking from my personal experience. I never had that for myself. And I think it was just dope to just see little boys. I don't even care if they talk trash, like, oh, you can't beat me. Like, oh, come play. Like, I think it's just dope to just have them be like,
Super
oh,
dope.
it's a girl. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I think it's just dope to just, have that a part of the game. And I think that's what's going to help grow the women's generation, because you're not just reaching out to like the girls, you're reaching out to the boys, and you're grabbing the boys now, and the boys are understanding. Like, that little boy told me he liked my handles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He likes my handles. So
And it changed the perspective of a young boy when he
yeah,
sees, a girl, a woman, like, you know what, like, her handle is nice. Because when you keep them separate, then they only rely on other guys to kind of mold their perspective on, like, what a woman is or what they can do, or, like, so putting people together is very important, especially in gaming. It brings everyone together.
everyone together. So I think that's just like, that's my thing with gaming. That's what I like about gaming, like the competition of gaming, and you just meet a lot of different people in that gaming industry. So like, that's like my experience of like the gaming.
So we got a question for you here. You can choose not to answer it, or you can answer it.
What is one thing you would change about the WNBA? If there was one thing I could change about the WNBA, everybody who went 1 through 12 will have their own sports marketing team. It won't be 1 through 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You you just get drafted and make your money at WNBA, and then they tell you to figure it out. Like, I mean, granted, it's not up to them, as they can say, but I mean, it ain't easy out here trying to strive and get people to believe in the WNBA in different ways. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people out here that want to help the WNBA. So, and I think that's a great feeling to have, as me being young, from understanding what women went through and how we, got to this understanding. Like, it took us forever to even have a lead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I would change. I don't like the fact that I have to go in and not play, and these men, I don't have no problem with men at all. But it doesn't make sense why somebody undrafted can get a free suit, but I can't. I gotta go buy my mama a dress. I gotta go buy my mama some makeup to do it. I gotta make my mama look pretty. I don't got no money coming out of college.
Well,
And
you
my
know what
agent
else?
looking at
The
me.
awareness around that, because I didn't know that, right? So it's like sometimes, a lot of people just go through, oh, this is just how it is. And that's because how it is doesn't mean it's right, right? So,
Exactly.
I didn't know that. So I think the more we hear about it, especially with social media, things can get out there. A lot of people don't want to be whistleblowers, of course, but I think if we knew that, we should raise awareness, man. Awareness brings change. Man, we had a very, very aware year this year.
Man.
So I think at this point we should definitely both cover pages. I don't know what he's saying down there. Oh, we have another question just came in. It looks like, who did it feel? I'm guessing this question is asking,
Who did it feel?
I guess, like, what did it feel like to win a
I feel
championship?
like winning a championship.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it felt amazing. I was starstruck. I mean, I knew I was gonna win one, but then like getting to like like to be blessed to be like, yo, like I didn't think I was gonna go 12 and then go to the best team and then be on the best team and actually have a coach tell you that she wasn't gonna play you and had play you in the playoffs. So and play me a little bit and always talk to me about playing me. It was like a bittersweet feeling because I got in there and got to shoot, like 2 jump shots. I was like, man, it was sweet to just be around a group of girls and that really love the game of basketball because I don't think a lot of women love the game of basketball and take it seriously anymore. So I had like a dope experience and I was super blessed to be with a lot of dope women.
That's beautiful. So tell people where they can find you. Like, how can they find you? Like, is it the Twitch, the Instagram? Like, what's the best way to follow you, track your music, Twitter? Like, how can they locate you?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter, Lex2 TOO_Shifty. You can find me there. And then if you want to find me on the game, you gotta find me on Zoo Game Lexi J. That's my game tagger name. But other than that, you can find me there. Or if you want to really find me, you can go find me on my Soul Raw Hair page. You can go find me there too. So
But you sell hair too? Oh, you gotta plug the hair. Like, what's going on here? Where the hair from? Like, how much does it cost?
Right,
like, what are you talking about right now?
Yeah, we got the bundles. I just started selling hair though just now. So I just got it started probably I say like 2 weeks ago. But it's definitely an investment for me because I spend a lot of money on my hair. So I definitely finally found a good person, Jazz, who has a great vendor. She's another owner of there, and she's super dope as well. You can go find her too at her beauty page. But we both run the hair page together, and we got some amazing hair. We do.
We got an entrepreneur, gamer, ball player, model over here, doing it real big, man. I love it. I love everything you said. I love the positivity. I love how you able to pivot and transition. You know, I love how you're able to find yourself around people who genuinely want to support you and care about you. That's really important, you know, especially as you try to figure out like how to pivot and make moves. So that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So shout out to Queens Gaming Collective. Shout out to Zoo Game Gamers. You know, shout out to anyone, your pops, everybody who ever believed in you. You know, I really appreciate people like really stepping up and supporting you right now. That's beautiful, man. I love to hear that.
I appreciate you talking to me right now and you stepping up and listening to my story and actually taking the time to be like, yo, I want to understand, I want to know, and I want to help, you know? And
yeah,
I
of course.
appreciate you because there's not a lot of people right now who's going to step up and actually do that for women who they technically think is not a superstar.
Nah, that's ridiculous, man. And plus, I love gaming. You know, I just love helping people. You know, I love helping people. Like that's equity right there. Like you can't always go to get something. Giving is how you build equity. So you give unconditionally. You know, never really expect anything back, right? Just give, 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 give. You know what I mean? Like that's how I rock. So, you know, I'm definitely going to be in touch with you because we gotta
talk about the Xbox.
We gonna set that up, and then we gonna set that up too. And then we gonna set that. Shout out to Queens Gaming. Definitely shout out to Queens Gaming.
Definitely shout out to Queens Gaming. About to be the dopest women you ever seen in your life. And if you ain't watching it now, you're gonna watch it soon. So it's fine.
That's beautiful, man. And if you want to get in contact with me, you can definitely hit the page at 361_commission, or you can come to my personal page, bigive.361. We'll definitely be in touch. We're going to be in touch. So we got to set that game up. We're going to stream it right here on Forbes. We're going to stream the NBA 2K game on Forbes.
Oh, you trying to put me on live now.
I'm going to have to, stakes are high
cool.
right now.
It's cool. It's cool. Give me about 3 weeks. I'm going to work. I'm about to practice.
Big updates coming soon. Zoo, I'm going to hit you up, man. We definitely going to talk. Listen, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Alexis, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you coming and sharing your story. We really do.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, guys.